Have you ever had one of those moments when your own reaction surprised you? Someone you love says something that feels unusually sharp, and before you've even registered it, your voice comes out sharper than you meant it to. A text message arrives, your stomach tightens before you even opened it. You walk into a room feeling completely at ease, and a few minutes later, notice something inside you has quietly changed. Later, you find yourself wondering, why did I react that way? Last week, we talked about NBAL, noticing, breathing, asking, and listening to what your body is trying to tell you. If you haven't watched that one yet, it's worth going back to because everything we cover today builds on it. Before we can understand what our bodies are trying to say, it helps to understand why they sometimes respond before we've even had time to think. After nearly 40 years as an operating room nurse, I stopped believing our emotional reactions were just random. Over and over, I watched the human body respond in ways that couldn't always be explained by what was happening in the exact moment. Over time, I came to understand something that changed the way I cared for my patients, and eventually, the way I cared for myself. Long before you could reason through a difficult moment, your nervous system was already learning from every experience you had. Inside each of us is a remarkable nervous system that's constantly taking in information from the world around us. Its first priority is protection. That's why your body can respond before you've had time to understand what's happening. I sometimes think of it as a faithful guard dog. Its job is simply to stay alert. Your nervous system does much the same thing. It's always paying attention, noticing voices, facial expressions, body language, and countless details most of us never consciously notice. When something resembles an experience your brain has recognized as threatening, your body responds almost instantly. It isn't overreacting. It's doing what it was designed to do, protect you. This explains why something many of us have felt. An ordinary moment suddenly feels much bigger than it should. Someone makes an offhand comment, and you find yourself thinking about it for the rest of the day. A friend doesn't return your call, and an uncomfortable feeling settles in before you even know why. I'll never forget a patient whose blood pressure spiked in a dangerous range moments after we transferred him to the operating room table. Nothing had gone wrong. The anesthesia hadn't even begun. The only sound in the room was the monitor alarm. I found myself wondering whether his body was responding to something his conscious mind hadn't yet recognized. That experience stayed with me. It reminded me that our bodies can respond to an earlier experience long before we consciously understand why. What you're feeling today may not have begun today. Sometimes what we feel in the present has roots that reach much farther back than we realize. That doesn't mean we're living in the past. It means part of us is still responding to something that mattered deeply. A raised voice from a stranger can feel like a raised voice from years ago. A silence in a conversation can feel like the silence that used to come before something painful. Your body, it's not confused. It's simply responding to now as if now were then. Recognizing that possibility can soften the way we see ourselves. Instead of assuming something is wrong with us, we begin to wonder whether our reaction has a story we haven't heard yet. That doesn't mean every difficult feeling comes from the past. Sometimes we're reacting to exactly what's in front of us. Becoming curious is enough. That single shift opens a different way of understanding yourself. Instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" you begin asking, "When else have I felt this way? And what might my body be responding to?" One question keeps us searching for what's wrong with us. The other helps us understand ourselves. I've found that understanding is often where healing begins. Imagine you're at dinner with someone you care about. You share an idea that matters to you, and they don't say much. A few moments passed. Almost immediately, you noticed a heaviness in your chest. Your shoulders tighten. You start pulling away emotionally before the conversation has even had a chance to continue. Moments like that happen every day. Most of us assume the silence caused the feeling, and sometimes it did. And sometimes it simply touched something that was already there. That's where NBAL becomes such a useful practice. The first step is simply to notice. Pay attention to what's happening in your body. Your chest may feel tight. Your breathing may become shallow. You may notice a knot in your stomach. Then take one slow breath. That breath isn't meant to make the feeling disappear. It simply gives you a moment to ask a different question. Is this about what's happening right now? Or is this a previous day still asking to be understood? You don't have to answer right away. Just asking the question is enough. You may recognize that you felt the same sensation before. A memory may come to mind, or nothing may happen at all, and that's all right. You've already done something important. You've paused, and you've started listening. Not because every mystery gets solved, and not because every old wound disappears overnight, but because you've created enough space to respond with kindness instead of criticism. I've come to believe that understanding ourselves doesn't happen all at once. It often begins with a single pause, a moment when we stop judging ourselves long enough to listen. Those moments have a way of adding up. Some of the ways we've learned to respond began a long time ago. They may have helped us through an earlier time in our lives. Today, they may no longer fit the moment we're in. The encouraging part is that our nervous systems can continue learning, just as they learned from earlier experiences. They can learn from new ones. Every time you pause, notice what's happening and respond with curiosity instead of judgment. You're teaching your nervous system something it didn't know before. So this week, when a reaction shows up that feels bigger than the moment in front of you, try something different. Notice what you're feeling. Take one slow breath. Then gently ask, is there something here my body would like me to understand? You don't have to force an answer, and you don't have to solve anything in that moment. Simply ask the question changes the conversation. Your body was never trying to work against you. For years, it's been doing the very best it could with everything it learned along the way. The next time it speaks a little louder than you'd like, try meeting it with curiosity instead of judgment. You may find it's been trying to help you all along. If you'd like to continue these conversations each week, I'd love to have you here. You're always welcome to subscribe. And if today's video was meaningful to you, a like helps others find these conversations. I'm Jeanne Loves Spots. Until next time, your body already knows how to heal. It's just waiting for you to listen.